This week on Starting Line,
parents want to raise their children. The economic realities oftentimes prohibit that. This gives them that opportunity.
Representative Tim Miller thinks establishing a new tax credit for parents caring for dependent children would be a better option than some current child care assistance programs. Find out more on this week's Starting Line.
Recent reports of fraud have plagued some of the state's child care assistance programs. In light of these accusations, Representative Tim Miller is sponsoring a proposal that would replace some programs in favor of a new tax credit for parents caring for their dependent children. We spoke with Miller about his proposal.
House File 2847 is a child care bill that looks at the realities of the daycare problems here in Minnesota. In rural Minnesota, it's very difficult to find child care for your children. I also know that the families around me, a lot of times one of the parents would prefer to stay home with them, but they can't afford it. CCAP, the Child Care Assistance Program, which helps fund daycare for lower income people, creates it gives to a family up to like $17,000 to $19,000 a year towards the care of their child. And when I saw that, I go, why don't we just give that to the parents themselves? So there's kind of a formula involved, but what it essentially does is it looks at where your income level is. If you qualify up to 150% of the poverty line in Minnesota, if you're under that, you qualify for this. And there's a formula by which you get a tax credit at the end of the year to offset the costs of your child care, hopefully so that the mother or father can stay home with their child.
Why do you think a tax credit is a better option in this case?
Well, in this case, this is a vehicle by which we could probably accomplish it. We sarcastically said we should just be paying parents with the CCAP money to stay home with their kids. It's not so sarcastic. If we're looking at $17,000 to $19,000 per person, that brings it in line. CCAP is not designed that way. We can't just literally send people checks, although we should. If we're going to do it, we should. But this is something that we can do in Minnesota on the tax credit side. We basically just won't tax them. But this is also a vehicle by which this is, I believe it's called creditable or some word like that, where basically even if you owe no taxes, it's kind of like the working family child credit, you can actually get money to offset that as well.
So part of the bill too, I mean, it repeals that, right? I mean, the child care assistance program, would that be taken out with this?
It does, and there's other appeal bills out there. The problem with child care assistance program is we want to help those who need the help. The way the program is set up, it's just so fraught with problems, we're just deciding to tear it down. Now, there are some other programs that we think we can build back up to be a little bit better. We are not trying, if there's one thing I understood is that you have a single mom who's working, there's this cliff that they fall off of when they start making too much income. We need to help them. We need to help them get along, and the Child Care Assistance Program, CCAP, was intended to do that. It's not doing that, so we need something different.
There's probably going to be some pushback on this type of proposal of yours. Why should people support it?
Well, so the pushback that you're talking about is it's controversial because if we say get rid of CCAP, how are we going to fund? Okay, but the other thing is ironically, a friend of mine kind of poked me and said, oh, so this is the get the wife back in the kitchen bill. Okay, because I'm saying parents want to stay home. I can tell you, this doesn't have to be the mom, this can be the father, but parents want to raise their children. The economic realities oftentimes prohibit that. This gives them that opportunity. People need to support this because two reasons. First of all, for that reason, but also I want people to support this because as we move forward with the child care needs in Minnesota, we have to think of different ways to address different people's issues regarding that. If you look at my bills, a lot of time they're policy bills rather than spending bills. Some of them have dollars attached, but they're really policy. That's where I like to do my work. We're talking about budgets this year and how we fund certain things. And the next biennium, we're going to have a lot more policy to talk about. I'm really setting up the conversation this year while we're interested in talking about childcare and setting it up so that we can do policy changes next year.
House File 2847 has been referred to the House Health and Human Services Policy Committee. As the 2019 session rolls on, stay up to date with what's happening at the legislature with our nonpartisan session daily coverage on the House website, www.house.mn/sessiondaily. Thanks for watching The Starting Line.